Hey folks, Jonathan here, working on the bike and kind of holding off on the chain just because I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for an idler, how I'm going to do that. Figured I'd jump on something else. I was going to mount the seat, but I decided I wanted to mount the gas tanks, but then I worked up here and decided I wanted to do something about this front place on the frame where the neck mounts and try to make it look a little different, a little better. So after wasting a bunch of poster board and cutting and trying to figure out different ways of doing it, going small, going bigger, and then cutting up different stuff, I finally came to this. And I'm trying to bring these lines in smooth, but keep it, about an equal distance away from the tank. So I think that's going to work. And we'll cut it, of course, cut it out of the 1/8 inch steel, and then I'll actually grind it on the edges so we can weld it in and grind it down smooth where you can't tell it was there or it was ever changed. And that way it'll match the tank, close it in a little bit. So I think that's going to work out. We're going to try one and see what it looks like, but anyway, there's before and I'll show you after. Okay, here's after. It's shaped better with the tank, so I like it. I think it's going to work fine. So now we're going to go to the other side and go ahead and get it done. Now I've got a little bit of work here and up here where the transitions are, but I haven't taken the tank off yet, so we'll see if we can get that. But I like it. I like it better than it was. It fits the design a little better. So, alright. Okay, we officially have the other side done. So same with the transitions. Got to clean them up a little bit once we get the tank off. But now I think we will take and work on mounting the tank. And then I can get this big clamp off here that's been bothering me. And then we'll be able to work with it a little easier, a little better. Get the seat mounted. Get that where I want it. Get the rear, springs, because I'm kind of worried about these. I don't like the angle of them. I wish they angled a little bit more this way. So I'm probably going to I'm thinking some brackets that just come out flat, and we'll put the bolt through just like a bolt to the top, and probably, well, we could, this is going to be boxed in, we could drill a hole. This is only 1/8 inch, so I don't want to tap through it, but we could drill a hole, put the bolt through to hold the bracket, and put the nut on it, and go ahead and weld the nut, and just bring a bracket, do a bend in it, maybe like 1/4 inch, something thick enough it's not going to bend, but come down and then out flat. And I just don't want it to look like it's really out of place. We could do something and box it in, but I don't think it would look right. So I think we'll do something that makes it look, like there's not that much there. Alright, let me get to mounting this tank or these tanks, and we'll move on. Okay, now that we've got the frame finished up the way I wanted it, I think I'm going to pull the tanks off and go ahead and make my rear mount. Now my rear mount, I'm going to change things up a little bit here. I'm going to do the end of these tanks a little different than what they're done, and put a couple bushings on them. The bolt's going to go all the way through and go through the seat post. We'll have a piece in here to keep the frame from collapsing down. The seat will still be able to pivot on it, but the rear tank mounts is going to be the same bolt as the seat mount. So we'll see how this works out, but I think it should work out fine. But now what I'm debating on is whether I should maybe thread the piece in the center and run one bolt in from each side instead of running one long bolt through. It may look a little better. We'll figure that out as we go, but we're going to get the tanks off, get them together exact so I can cut the ends of them, and we're going to weld our bushings on the way that I want to do it, and we'll see how that works out. Alright. Okay folks, here is my plan for the rear mount on the tanks. As you can see, I've got them laid exactly together like they need to be. What I'm going to do is cut the back off far enough to put one of these bushings in. Now we're going to put it at the back edge of it and weld it all in, seal it up good so it can't leak. And these are countersunk, so the bolts that will have to go through and hold the tanks on will be the same as the bolts in the frame. What we're going to do is take these two pieces and place the countersinks out and bolt them together, and that way when we get our tanks trimmed and we got them laying perfectly together, then we're going to put it up in there and start welding in, and then we'll be able to take them apart once we get it where we want it. And that way we can get it good, straight, just like it's supposed to be. And I think that'll work out good. So at the back of the tank, instead of it coming to a point, it's going to be a little bit rounded, which will be good. I have no problem with that. So let's see what she's going to look like here once I get it cut off, welded, and start doing some grinding on it. Okay, we've got it drilled and bolted on. Got the pieces welded in. Now I've got some more welding to do when I take these off, just in little places. I don't like using Bondo in little spots like that, so on the corners, so I'll weld everything up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but weld everything up and grind it and make it all good and straight, and then we'll grind everything all together and make it perfect. But so we're not, you know, complete yet, so don't think this is the end product. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bushing that goes between this seat. You see how it mounts, but it's threaded on each side for 5/16 course. Okay, and I'm going to use a little longer bolts, but they're going to go in a little, you know, good little ways. And then we're going to take and put spacers on the outside to give up for this extra, well, it looks like about a 1/4 inch. And then we're actually going to make them taper or step down and go inside this hole. And we may bore this hole just a little bit bigger. But that way, what we want is, we don't want the seat to move back and forth, but we want it to be able to move up and down. So that's what we're going to do for that, and take a little bit of machining. So we've got 3 pieces to make, 1 for each side, and then our centerpiece is threaded. And then that way we can go on each end, and that's what we'll bolt our gas tank on and our seat on. And like I said, once this is all ground and finished up, and I've still got a lot of welding to do on the tank anyway, but we're going to make it all look right. So let me get back at it here and see if we can get these other pieces made. It's already getting dark, so you got to stop a lot and go tow and come back, and you know, it gets pretty aggravating after a while. But you see why my mess is here. I can't, you know, when the phone rings I got to go. I can't stop and clean up, pick up anything, so I'll just wait till the end of the evening and clean up. So let's see if we can get that mounted. That's my goal for tonight, get this mounted up front. We still got to do the front gas tank mounts, and then but for tonight we're going to try to get this done, and then maybe make 2 brackets for the rear of the springs. That way the seat will be mounted, and then we can go from there with it. So let me get at it. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've made 2 of these, and these will go into the bracket, and then this will go on the inside, and when they tighten up, it's going to leave enough, well, you can get it where it needs to be, but it's going to give it enough room to actually still pivot, and then we can tighten it up good and tight, and it'll still hold together like it should. So let's see what I can do if I can get this thing together. Alright. Okay, took all 4 of my hands, but together. As you can see, we still got a little bit of a, you know, it's not loose at all. There's actually no left to right play at all in this. It's about perfect. I'm bad about getting tolerances too tight, but I think we'll be alright on this. So now we're going to mount the seat back down onto the bracket here. Well, there we go. Combination tank mount, seat mount. So we're going to do the back of it, and then I think we'll call it a night. We're going to try to do 2 brakes just for the back. Hopefully I can get them done. Coming along. What my ultimate goal is to run out of stuff to do, but I don't see that happening tonight. Okay, you ever be in a position that don't matter what you do, you don't think it's going to look good? I was thinking about bringing the piece down and bending out and then bolting the piece on like at a quarter. Put the springs out at the edge on both sides. I don't know, I just can't come up with any good. I mean, there's plenty of ways of doing it, don't get me wrong, and there's plenty of ways of doing it where it's going to be sturdy, but is there a way of doing it where it's going to look good too? That's the issue. And I just don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to cipher on this a little bit. Pull a Jethro Bodine here. So, look at it another hour or two here and maybe I can figure it out. Okay, I think I've got an idea of a way I can do it that might not look too bad. So, what I'm going to do is, it's not going to be much higher than what it is. But I want to make sure it's got enough room to travel and have some bounce to it. So, we'll just go up just a little bit and we'll have plenty of travel, and then I'm going to make something and we'll see how it looks out. Okay folks, got them on there, and I kind of like that. It's not big and bulky and it don't look like it's out of place. So what I done was I took this thick wall tubing, and which is 1 inch, it might be a little over an inch, inch and an eighth maybe. Anyway, I put a 5/16 bolt up through it and welded it in from the bottom side and welded it around the top and ground it, and then was able to cut it at an angle to where it's straight. So I think it looks good the way it is. I mean, it definitely don't look terrible. I mean, it could have looked a lot worse with something beefy that shouldn't have been there, but seats mounted, that's done. Now I can adjust this back. I've got it all the way forward, and it's got slides on it. It'll re-angle the springs a little bit, but it won't hurt anything. So I think we're going to call it a night. I got my goal done, and anytime you can do that, you're doing good, because I try to set the goals pretty high of what I get completed, and that's the best way to do something. Just set a goal, and then you're more apt to, if you're hurting or your back's hurting or you're aching all over and or you're feeling tired or something, if you've got a goal set, you're more apt to get it finished. So that's what I do and why I do it. And anyway, so next we'll do the front mount on the tank, and I don't know, we might do something in the center on the inside where you can't see it, and but we do have that big bulky clamp off. We just got 2 small ones on there now, and got the backside bolted in. Like I said, I've got more welding and grinding and stuff to do there. Once we get it all finished, I'll finish grinding everything on top and get all that done. We need to get our fuel bung in and our bottom ones. So probably going to run copper fuel line or something, I'm not sure. I could nickel plate copper. I am going to have some new nickel plate solution here shortly, and I'm going to have enough to do about any piece I want to do. So stuff lasts forever. You just got to have a sacrificial piece of nickel to put in there to actually draw from. So anyway, all right, well, been nice if we got more done, but at least we got something done. All right, appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.